The advantage of being the last speaker in a panel is that you have the final word. So I think I won't be counted. See, when you talk about elections and election campaigns in an democracy, there is a thinker, Ardent Liphart, he says that election campaigns is the dance of democracy. That is very true about India. But about the US, what is very true in my opinion is, this is a celebration time for issues and policies to be discussed. And that is very true about America. For example, a study shows that the last 50 years or so, 75% of the election promises have been kept by the presidents. Another study shows that Obama, however you rate him or not, he has tried to deliver 80% of what he has promised. I disagree with Professor Srinivasan because the last State Department, Commerce Department survey, Bureau survey says that unemployment rate is better than what it was in 2008, and other economic indicators are also better than what it was in 2008 or 2012. So, having said that, what I mean is that the issues that we discuss here are very important because those are going to be carried out by the presidents in whatever way possible. So whether these issues are very polarizing, uncivil or negative, or even if they are against American ethos, pluralism and values, they are pertinent for the reason that they are going to be implemented some way or the other. So that makes this election very different, though we are rather worried about it. So this election, they give solutions, they give visions about America, and they are important. So that is why we discuss it here. So if you look at the issues, as many of the speakers have already pointed out, see, they range from economy to abortion to transgender issues and whatnot. So they have all these issues. And as many have already pointed out, economy has always been the most important issue in American elections. A study by the Pew Research Center says that 84% of the people, registered voters, consider economy as the most important issue. And I don't want to deal with the other aspects of why economy is the most important issue, but one thing I think stands out, and that is America is divided in a sense between the 99% and the 1%. You might remember the movement there, we are the 99%. So that message and that perception is very much into the American election campaign. So inequality and stagnation. So the American economy has not moved, or the wages remain the same for the last so many years, though there are some other figures coming out now. And also, for the last so many years, poverty level in America has remained the same, around 15%. So there is a decline in working class income. I think that some people say is the real support base of Trump. So this is what makes economy very, very important. And they have all dealt upon how the tax, the different candidates deal on tax, different candidates deal with job creation and so on. So if I sum up what makes Trump's policy or the economy of American politics, American economy different is that Trump stands on a very strong nationalistic economic agenda which has very strong elements of racialism in it. So that is how the political economy works there in this election. Now if you survey other issues, that also has this clear link. Economy becoming racial, economy becoming an immigrant issue, economy becoming an issue of terrorism. So the close linkage between these issues, what is that makes this issue, this election really a polarizing, uncivil, and negative conduct of election. And also, the negativity about or the high unfavorable rating about the candidates are also, some way or the other, related to the issues that they are trying to raise. So this is the peculiar situation in which the American debate is going on. So all of them have talked about terrorism, how they are, see, the Trump branding all the Muslims as terrorists, his ideas of surveilling the mosque or closing some of the mosque, then torture as a means of eliciting information from the terrorist or whatever it is, and their radical views on gun control, where for the Republicans, gun control is very sacrosanct constitutionally and conventionally, whereas Clinton stands for checking gun control laws by making the manufacturers and the users both responsible. So they differ on most of the issues. And even on education, they differ. Education, Hillary recently has said that it has to be free education funded by the state and families, whereas Trump leaves it for the state to manage with the local policies, whatever is possible. And also on health, they differ. What I mean is that in most of the issues, whether it is immigration, gun control, internal security and terrorism and foreign policy, they differ. Now, I don't want to talk about much on these issues because these are very familiar to you. Now, I would like to make a twist here. The twist is that these issues being raised and discussed are quite normal, and in some cases, they are very positive. I still believe that the debate and discussions are very positive, despite the uncivil, negative picturizations and narratives. What makes this election really interesting is the revolt within the established political parties. What is the revolt in the party? See, generally, the Republican Party is the party of free trade, it's the party of open immigration and such policies. But for the last 2 decades or so, the party is in fact struggling to balance, or rather in a sense, there is an uneasy coalition of business elites and social conservatives. So they are trying to balance these two forces, leading to a revolt in the Republican Party. So since they have been standing for economic liberalism, free markets, free trade and open immigration, now there is a serious problem within the party, Republican Party, that the working class are moving away from them. So Trump is clearly appealing to this constituency. And what is wrong with the Democratic Party? Democratic Party is generally associated with the common man. They protect the interests of the labor unions, but no more. So both these parties are more aligned to the upper class in the society, despite all their rhetoric on social justice or welfareism and whatever, social conservatism or whatever it is. So there is a rift within the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, which is making the election quite interesting. So the Democratic Party is closely identified with identity politics. They are catering to the interest of the blacks, the minorities, the Hispanics, etc. and such groups. So it is a collection of identities that they are appealing to. Now, the very presence of the third party that Professor Srinivasan has mentioned, and in this election, many people say that the Libertarian and the Green parties are likely to capture substantial percentage of votes, which would clearly affect the prospects of both the candidates. So this is also because of the problems and confusion with the mainstream parties. So since the 1992 election, the third party is having a very substantial presence in this election. That is because they are taking advantage of the confusion and the revolt within the political party. So the presence of the third party is also because of the confusion within the mainstream parties. Now what is interesting is that because of this confusion within the political parties, a strange phenomenon is there in US politics, and that is class is back in American politics. Class is generally a socialist term. But this class is back with a very alarming kind of racism, racial identity, etc. So that is what makes this election really interesting, as well as giving a new direction to American politics. I would give you one example, Obamacare. Actually, that is meant for all the poor people, including the white and the blacks. But you know what the white Americans think about it? The white Americans think about it that this is a program meant for everybody else except them. Actually, the white working class Americans, wage earners, are real beneficiaries of the Obamacare, but they outright reject this program thinking that this is not meant for them. So this has contributed to the division between the blacks, white. So what you find is that multiculturalism versus identity politics. So it is a strange phenomenon of the kind of class and caste in Indian politics. What you have there is caste and identity in American politics, where the very cultural values and pluralism of American political system is challenged. I think this is something that we need to think about. The Democrats have absolutely lost the white working class. And you know what is being rumored in Trump's election campaigns? It is not let us make America great again. It is let us make America white again. The American election campaigns are no more very calm and quiet events. They are as noisy or more noisier than Indian campaigns. I happened to attend one of the Trump campaign meetings where few Hispanic Mexican students were moving around agitated, and they were simply whisked away by the Trump security. So that is what is happening in America. There is a strange phenomenon of something that fundamentally challenges American values. So the very negativity about the candidate, or rather they are forced to resort to negative means, is also because of this campaign. You know, 85% of the American supporters feel that they have lost America. What they feel, my friends there say that what the whites in America, particularly Trump's supporters, think and discuss among them is that we want our country back. Of course, it has its establishment and other factors. So I think the time is up. So whatever may be the outcome of the election, whether it is Clinton or Trump, if Trump loses, his supporters will be bruised beyond the election. If Hillary wins, she will have to cater to interests of the Trump supporters, because the American society is polarized in a way, or rather they are in a way, there will be a great test for the American values that they have been so proud about. There will be questions about whether America is still the best democracy or not. I think that explains the political economy of this election, of why this is going to be very important for the entire world. So the election is about questioning America's economic principles and also political values, which they have been so proud of in the past. Thank you so much.